Welcome to the Black Design Collective. My name is Lola Wusu, and we are here with Sheila Gray, who is a magna cum laude grad of the Fashion Institute, Designed for Greatness. She started interning with Tracy Reese Gray, managed public relations, design multimedia communications of Brian Lars Beauty Mark label, and has even had her hand in styling celebrities like Michelle Obama, Kim Kardashian, Elle Fanning, Jill Scott, Angela Bassett. Such a long list. I'm just shortening it for you all, but just amazing people we all know and love. And after 14 years, she's partnered with Lars as a co-founder in the In Earnest that launched in 2020. And she also has her own brand, the Sheila Gray Collections, a unique high quality handmade accessories, t-shirt and tote bag collection. Thank you for joining us, Sheila, and welcome to the Black Design Collective.
Thank you for having me, and nice to, finally meet you.
I'm so excited about this chat. So where are you located right now, and where are you from?
I am in New York, in Harlem, which and originally I'm actually from Virginia, a little town called Culpeper, Virginia.
What was the town?
Culpeper.
Culpeper, Virginia.
I used to say like the Andy Griffin show was Culpeper. It was a small town.
Wow. Okay. And to New York, not small.
At all.
Not small at all. So you obviously love fashion. You went to school for it. You are good at school, is what I just read. Magna cum laude. My mom always wanted me to be. She would say it all the time, but we're not talking about me. You're in fashion. When did you start? What was your origin story, and what was your like aha moment? Like, this is my career.
Oh, I mean, I think I started very young, but I always say like if God gives you a destiny, that's just where you're going. And so in this little town, like I can remember being young and just drawing and sketching. And I grew up like in the 80s and when all the graffiti and stuff came out, and I was like doing that stuff for my friends and for my cousins and their friends. And then I did my own prom dress and then did other people's. And so it was inevitable that, I was gonna, like, people still to this day remember me talking about it, even when I was working other jobs in Culpeper. They were like, you always said you were going to New York and do fashion. And so when the time came that I could do it, I jumped on the bus and was like, okay, got here and was like, okay, I need the training from a school, a credible school, and went and applied. And I just say God gave me a whole lot of favor because kids that have been trying for years, that I went the last day of registration.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't know that it was the last day. And I was in this line and they're looking at me like, how did you get in? And I was, but yeah.
I love
So,
that.
yeah.
Favor.
Favor. Yeah.
Favor. And you always known you wanted to do it. And you're doing it.
I was like 12 or 13. And then by 15, it was just like everything I could get my hands on, everything I looked at. Yeah, it was
Great. So, and who taught you how to sew?
You know what? I actually could not even afford a sewing machine. So I learned to sew by hand.
Wow.
And it was crazy because people would be like, oh, yeah, you did this on the machine. I was doing it by hand. And then when you got to like graduation, you could take like a home ec like sort of class, but they had an extenuation of one where you could, just basically learn how to make a pair of shorts or, a t-shirt or something like that, or a shirt or apron or something like that. And I went, took that class and then just kept on, getting patterns, trying to make things, trying to, make it get better at it until I, got to school. And
wow, that is impressive. That is definitely a sign that you love what you're doing. If you're hand sewing full dresses.
yeah, well, I was hand sewing, and then, like I said, I did that but what actually got me to New York actually was I continued. I was like, okay, I was working at a company, like an environmental research company, and all the time making clothes and like sending them out. And it was crazy because I sent out an outfit to a record company and got hooked up with this person um, that represented like makeup artists, hairstylists, photographers,
Okay.
and they took the dress. LaFace Records took the outfit and put it on one of their new artists. And
Wow.
from that, I got connected to this person, and they were like, "What do you think about coming to New York for 2 weeks?" And that's what I was really only supposed to be here 2 weeks when I first came. And
Wow.
then the 2 weeks has turned into, I don't even know how many years.
Enough.
Yeah, when you have one plan, it's so funny because your destiny is going to take you in the direction you got to go.
Supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So what did you major in at FIT?
Design, fashion design, and my specialization was evening wear because I just knew like, okay, I'm going to do this red carpet, evening gowns, and yeah.
I love what we feel like we're gonna start doing. So you at the end of the day, you've done so many things in this industry and carry so many skills. Um, of course, your design skills have incorporated, but you've done PR, you've done, administrative things. You have a servant's heart, you could tell because of how you've turned an internship into this brand and work really well with people. Where did you get these skills from, and how did you like cultivate them?
Okay, first and foremost, I think I tell everybody I'm a faith girl. So I think for me, putting that into how I treat others and putting that into how I handle life
Yeah,
always made me feel like I think even when I started like the makeup artist and the representation of all that stuff and doing all that, I was always like really grounded by we're all people and
yeah,
we need somebody to, show us some kindness and love. Like
yeah,
that's just my motto with life. So um I think, and then being in so many fields, like I always tell people, God is a God of excellence. So I'm a person of excellence. I don't want to do it for you if I'm not going to give you my best. So with each job or with each thing I did, I used to joke, especially with Byron, because I used to say, "No, God brought this little girl from Culpeper, Virginia here. You're not gonna stay here. You're gonna have to go further." And so I think when you're young and when you have that in mind, I just was not scared to try it. Like
yeah.
if I felt that's where God was leading me to do something, I had no clue about PR, never done it a day in my life. And a friend of mine did PR, and literally it came about when she was like, "Oh, I need you to pray for me. Nobody's ever prayed for me before." And she started helping me. And I think Byron went overseas to China and to do a collection. And by the time he came back, we were already in O Magazine. We were in like all these different magazines, and it just started because again, I just feel like each thing I did, I wanted to do my best at. And when it's
Mhm.
needed, that's the one nugget to take from business. Learn every aspect.
Yeah,
You kind of make yourself invaluable, but in making yourself invaluable and serving others, you kind of you pick up along the way gifts that I just say God already had in you, and then you perfect them. So I think that's what happened. I just yeah, I was able
I
to get some gifts.
love how that is, and it's true. It's helped your career. It's helped others' careers. You've been able to cultivate these skills that transcend just being a designer and actually being a successful one. So with that, you obviously have a servant's mindset. You obviously do things like it's throughout your story. It's kind of fascinating and I love it. But what made you decide, okay, with all these things, I'm really great at serving people in these areas. I'm really great at doing it, doing design in these areas or PR or whatever. but you decided, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur and start my own. Like, at what point did that change? And
I
what was
think I think that's where the aha moment came in, because I had a couple. Most people have some. I had a couple. Actually, it was because um, I don't even know how many years ago I got sick, and I thank God that I'm well, I'm whole, I'm healthy. But when you get really sick, and it was several surgeries and things like that, and I'm a on the go person, like 24/7. I think I sleep and my mind is still racing.
wow.
So I started doing things to just keep me. They said you have to be still in a bed for 2 weeks. I was like, 2 weeks? Me?
Yeah.
Like, that's not gonna happen. And I like, it's gonna sound crazy, but I went on YouTube and I was like, I'm gonna learn to crochet. And I'll just be able to sit there and do that. And then I started making scarves. And that was one aha moment, because people started buying them. And I was like, oh, this is a business. Okay, let me continue with this. And then it was a couple transitions, that times when I got sick, and they before they figured everything out, and I got sick again. And um then I started doing like accessories, like jewelry and stuff. And then the last time, I think, really was the final decision was like during the pandemic. Which part about what you see behind me is the t-shirt, because I just wanted to see, we had become so hopeless that I wanted a positive message out there, with positive images in it, and just to kind of encourage people. But then people were like, I want that.
Yeah.
And again, I was like, okay, all of these things are business.
Hmm.
And while I was doing it in earnest, I was like, you know what? We can do two. I just felt like God was anointing me to say, okay, you can do two. At
Hmm.
first, I was like, am I like a glutton for punishment? what are you, how are you gonna do two? But yeah. So, and each day he gives me the strength to do them. So yeah.
I love that. And you definitely have the grace to do it. They're really amazing pieces, and it translates throughout. Uh, so you decided, okay, these are a business. Did you start selling them brick and mortar? Did you start selling them online? Was it only like, phone calls?
It
Where did
was
you do this?
actually a tool. And that's what I'm so glad that when you work with somebody and you're really connected, and that's that connection and that partnership. Like, I'm full transparency. That's just how I am. That's how I live. So actually, I actually started using them as leverage both ways. Like, I actually went into business, and I was in Beauty Mark, and sometimes the whole scarf or t-shirt will pull another store in. And that's what happened. Um, a lady that was buying clothes from Beauty Mark saw what I was doing from a friend that bought some, and she was like asking me to call her, and she started selling the product for me. And
Wow.
they're putting it online, and then I had and I have other friends came along in building, like, because basically it's me, but there
Mhm.
were other people that came in my path that are beautiful friends now, that are a part of the team. And like, I would sell through her boutique, and then actually another boutique that we already had, an existing boutique, saw some stuff and said, look, can I put some in my store? And then I started selling online, and boom, the
Wow.
business was made.
Wow. I love that. One, I love that people came into your path to help you with this, but then also the fact that um, you were able to be in a position to recognize, let's take it, let's take a hold of these opportunities and allow them to flourish in the way that they are. So that is a beautiful thing to see. And then the fact that you went out, or your clothing is, in brick and mortar in these different stores, but then you also brought it back online because, we're
Well, I mean,
shoppers.
now I actually, and that was before we knew everything was going to go online. But the whole leverage thing was too, a lot of times, sometimes people would see a necklace, or they see a shirt, or they see a scarf, and then they'd be like, well, what are you wearing? And so, oh, I'm wearing beauty. Well, at the time it was Beauty Mark, or
Yeah.
now it's like, oh, I'm wearing in earnest. Let me send you that too. You know, I've always learned that you can branch out when you know it's not just about one situation or one company. It's out here for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
When I build, you build. And that's how I started, that's another nugget to give everybody. Like, it doesn't have to just focus on you.
Yeah.
The focus is when we build each other up, we
I
all
love
come.
that. Everyone wins. Everyone wins. You don't have a scarcity mindset, and that is very evident. And I think if more of us have more of the abundant mindset, like when you win, we all win. We would all
There
just
you
be
go.
happier.
Be happy. I started, New York is a perfect place to see that, because I remember when I first came here, I was like, oh, there are areas. They're like, oh, this is this area, this is that area. And I would see how, oh, but this area builds this area up, and this area builds that area up. And
Yeah.
so, that's just what we have to really get to that place, because that makes a change.
So, what systems do you implement when you're managing all these different entities and people and sales and orders? Like, do you have like a system that you can? I mean, obviously, don't go too detailed, but the more detailed, the better for inquiring minds who do too much, like myself.
A lot of prayer.
Exactly. There
um,
you go.
yeah, a lot of prayer. You know what I do? I do that, and then also, you know, I have a checklist, and I have to do that daily, just to even kind of keep things half straight.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, mostly it starts going into like your basic routine, and you kind of keep that routine. And when you have a lot of balls in the air, I think the hardest part has been learning for me, if I do drop a ball, like, don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Okay. Just pick it up, keep it going. And basically, yeah, but my checklist is my basic thing throughout the day. If you don't have a checklist and you're doing a lot of things, you're
Yeah.
gonna miss a lot of things.
That makes
So I guess, yeah, that's my greatest
your
thing that
checklist on your phone, or do you write it down?
I literally am old school. I write it down, because on my phone, I'm like, okay, and then things are coming up and I'm forgetting. So if it's in my face daily, it helps me. But yeah, but first and foremost, we start off like every day with that prayer, and then that list, and then checking off that list during the day, just to make sure everything's getting done.
Love that. So, with all this, is there a like specific risk that you can think of that you took that wasn't on the checklist, that wasn't like in the plan, that wasn't? I mean, obviously, you work and flow, you let God deal with a lot of your success, but a moment when you were like, I'm not sure, God, should I do this? And you took a leap that yielded even bigger like results than you anticipated.
Several. But actually, I think the biggest one was even the partnership. We worked together, and we've worked together well for many, many years, and I
Yeah.
couldn't ask for a better partner than Myron. But even in that, and I believe in the vision, but I was always like, oh, like, what does that mean? Like, because it's only us two. So I was like, wait a minute, what does that mean? I know from one, and when you're doing it as one, if you want to stop, you can. If you want to do, wherever you're going here. But I was like, oh, like, okay. And I have always been too, more so a background person. So this was different for me. It was like, now you're gonna put, wait a minute, I gotta push to the front. Like, I don't know about that, Daddy. Like, so I think that for me probably felt like a risk,
Yeah.
but it's paid off in
Yeah.
numerous ways. And I'm very thankful for that.
I love that. I really do. So let's get to know you a little more personally. You did mention your routine. You did mention a lot of prayer. I just know that oftentimes getting to know the routine of people who do yield success Interesting. So what time do you wake up? I know you don't sleep often, but what time do you wake up in the morning? What's your daily routine?
Oh,
What
I
do
wish I could say I had a daily routine, but honestly, each day is different.
okay.
Um, I don't get a lot of sleep. That's true. And I guess I was always backwards because even when I was in school, I was a night owl. Like my ideas, creativity, things came to me at night. So I had to kind of turn things around and be like, okay, now you got to be morning and night. And even doing the creative and the business, it's like a you have to kind of turn off one to
Okay.
focus on the other. So it my daily routine just depends on what fire is first that day. Because you're gonna have some. So some days it's like I said, it always starts with prayer and getting yourself together. And that is to me self-care. Because if my mind is not right, then I can't be that person that everybody needs you to be or do all those tasks you need to do. But for the most part, yes, long work days, um, long work nights.
Yeah.
Sometimes my get up is really early. Sometimes it's like because I've gone to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning that I might have to get up like I just need 3 hours. Like let me just get up at 9. Let me get up at so it's not a like set thing. And I
Okay.
think just you gotta that's what you do,
I
you
like
know.
if it's working for you, it's working for me.
It kind of has to. So yeah.
I
Yeah.
I fully understand. I had a similar week. So
Yeah.
didn't sleep till 5. I had to be up by 9.
Well,
Uh,
you know what? It's so many different facets. And so it's like, okay, today the shipment didn't get there. Okay, now I've got to call all these stores. Now all these orders need to be processed. And the one thing I love about both companies is we put ourselves into it. Like
okay,
it's personal.
right,
So what I'm giving you is personal. So that personal time and attention means something because it's not that we're just putting things out there. We're putting things out there and we want you to know it's done in love, it's done in care. Like we really care about our customers. So yeah, when you got to be up all night because you're calling stores or emailing stores, or today that shipment you have to figure out where it's at.
right.
And so you're calling overseas at night, like you just have to be able to deal with it and be like, okay, that's what this day is.
The sacrifice of the day. That's
Yep.
good. So, are there any like, I know you've shared a couple already, but any like practical tools? You told me about your checklist, which is great. But any books or tech apps, any practices in general that help you improve what you do on the daily?
Um, Not on a daily, but I mean, always at times, to grow, you're always reading. And yeah, like I just don't pray. Like I pick up that Bible, I pick up the books on self-help
Hmm.
with even PR. When I did PR, I would read some books on PR. I would read some books on other things. Or what I could have, because when you have 15, 16-hour days,
Yeah.
it's not always easy, but yeah. And I try to keep that balance. Like, okay, if I don't know it, let me figure out how to do this and let me read about this or let me read up on that. If I can.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is day to day and just, okay, we'll get this done. We'll figure it out and get it done.
Love it. Love it. So, with everything you've done, what are you the most proud of in yourself?
Um, I honestly think that people always say you are such a connector.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. That I'm proud that you know what I realized a long time ago. It's not just about me, and that if I have something that could benefit you, why am I holding it?
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm proudest of.
As you should be. You definitely should be, because I'm sure not only you benefit, but everyone around you gets to benefit from that. Um, that's a beautiful place to be, to cultivate a community of people that you've been able to help, and vice versa, I'm sure. So then with the community, speaking of community, what are you most proud of in community and people?
Um, I think I know, well, I know I'm a person that people feel real easy like talking to or telling. Like sometimes I was like, okay, but I know your life story now, but that's good. That's good. So I think I've been proud to see that the community, you know, we see a lot of bad things on TV, but there are a lot of good people out there.
That's good. That's
There's
so
a lot
true.
of when you take the time with people, there's bad, but there's a lot of good. So I
Yeah,
think I'm proudest that the community, the people that I know that are good, don't stop. Even though they may hear or see something, they still pick it up and keep that ball rolling. Yeah.
love that. I love that. It's one of my favorite questions. But this is my actual favorite question, and includes everything today. But what, or if you were a pair of shoes, which pair of shoes would you be and why?
Okay, you know, we were both laughing because I was over here listening to Byron when he told me this, but I think I'm the total opposite. I am that cool fly sneaker you probably wear every day.
Okay.
Um, I think that's me just because that's the kind of heart I have. So I'm probably into everything. I'm running around like crazy, and I'm your favorite.
I
I'm your favorite. So I don't go out of style.
love that. That is really cute. And I just love how it shows more of your personality. But so where can everyone find you and your collection?
They can find me on IG at Sheila Gray Collection. Um, well, since I have two, they can find me at IG on In Earnest Official,
Hmm.
Twitter, Sheila Gray SG, and on Facebook, Sheila Gray Collection, and also the other half of this brilliantness is at In Earnest the Fish on Twitter and at In Earnest Official for well, In Earnest BL actually for Facebook. But if you put in Earnest or Sheila Gray, it's gonna all come up.
I'll pop up. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today. You're such a delight, such a kind person. I can just feel your heart from here.
Oh,
I wish you the best. I'm looking forward to seeing more of your designs and your work. But thank you so much for joining us and taking time out of your so busy schedule to be with us today.
well, thank y'all for having me. And yes, we got to get you some stuff. I heard Marvin say it, so we got to make that
Please, please.
happen.
Thank you again and have a lovely day.
You too.